students, my name is Govind Tripathi and warm welcome in my channel Henry's Classes. Today I have come up with a very important video. This video is related to chemistry. You know that in chemistry it is very important that one should know how to read and write chemical formula. Because if you do not know how to read and write chemical formula, then you cannot excel in chemistry. But I have noticed that children have got this problem, that most of the children have this problem that they are not neither able to read and not able to write the chemical formula. And these chemical formula just become like burden on them and they simply make them speechless. But now we have to remove this and we have to make ourselves free from this burden, because I am going to tell you how to read and write the chemical formula. I tell you that you must watch this video completely, and after that you will be confident and easily you will be able to read and write the chemical formula. So let's start the topic. So as far as chemical formula is concerned, first of all we should talk about matter. As you know that matter is something which occupies space, which has mass and which can be perceived by our sense organs. And we also know that there are three types of matters: solid, liquid and gas. One more thing is here, that this matter is made up of molecules, and we also know that molecules are made up of atoms. So when we talk about atoms, then we talk about elements. I hope you know that element and compound, they are different from each other. There are more than 100, around 118 elements are in periodic table, and when these elements chemically combine, then they form a chemical compound. So mostly children have this problem, that how to read these chemical compounds and how to write down. So now we are going to learn it in a very easy way. So let's start the topic. Suppose if I write some of the chemical formula here, and now I am going to tell you that what kind of problem children face in reading and writing this chemical formula. Suppose if I write magnesium chloride. So you can see this is the formula for magnesium chloride. But if I write aluminium chloride, then it is AlCl3. If I write further one more, suppose if I write sodium chloride, it is NaCl. Terms that when we write this chemical formula, then how do we come to know that where we have to place 2, 3 or 1? How do we come to know that where we have to place what number and how will we read it? So first of all, as far as reading is concerned, it is very important that we should know the symbols of elements. So now when I talk about this chemical formula, so you can see here this Mg indicates magnesium and this Cl indicates chlorine. So first of all, you should know, you should learn the name of symbols of elements. That Mg means magnesium, Cl means chlorine, Al means aluminium, Na means sodium, Ca means calcium, and Cl means chlorine. So once you know all the names of these symbols, it will be easy for you to read this name. Now when we come to writing this chemical formula, for that it is very important to know the valency. So let's start one by one. If I take this example of MgCl2, if I write Mg here and Cl here, we know that the valency of Mg is 2 and the valency of chlorine is 1. So when we write this formula, chemical formula, we simply exchange the valencies. Now you can see the valency of chlorine will go to magnesium and valency of magnesium will go to chlorine. So after exchanging it, when we write down, it becomes MgCl2. So this way we can write the chemical formula for magnesium chloride. This is one molecule of magnesium chloride which is made up of one atom of magnesium and 2 atoms of chlorine. Now as far as valency is concerned, then what is valency? So in simple words we can say valency is the number of electrons which are given or taken by any atom to complete its stable electronic configuration. And as far as stable electronic configuration is concerned, elements which have 8 electrons in the last shell, or in case of helium 2 electrons in the first, or you can say last shell, then they are known as having a stable electronic configuration. So now you can see that for writing chemical formula, we should know two things. Firstly, we should know the symbol of the element. At the same time, we should know their valencies. If we know these two things, then easily by exchanging these numbers, or you can say these valencies, we can easily form the molecular formula. Now if I take second example like AlCl3, then you can see here AlCl3. So we already know that the valency of Al is 3 and the valency of chlorine is 1, as we have seen there also. Again we will exchange it, and by exchanging it we can get the chemical formula for aluminium chloride. Now you can see here that in with magnesium we have taken like 2 with chlorine, because magnesium has 2 valency. But in case of aluminium we have taken like in case of this formula we have taken 3 with chlorine, because aluminium has valency 3. Now if I take about sodium chloride, in case of sodium chloride, we know that the valency of sodium is 1 and valency of chlorine is 1. Simply we exchange it, and what do we get? NaCl. And there is no need to show 1 here, because if nothing is written here, then it is considered as 1 only. So now you can see in this formula, in this chemical formula, sodium chloride, chlorine has only 1 valency of sodium, so NaCl we have written. But here chlorine we have written here 2, because magnesium has valency 2, and here we have written 3 with chlorine, because aluminium has valency 3. So this way you can see that here these metals are same, but with chlorine different numbers are coming, and these numbers are actually the valencies of these metals. Now as far as reading is concerned, as I have told you that for reading you should know 3 things. Firstly, you should know the name of the symbol, you should know the valency, and after that you have to simply exchange it. Understand this by taking few more examples. Suppose if I write here NH4OH, we call it ammonium hydroxide. Second is CaOH whole twice, calcium hydroxide. And third is we can take as CrOH whole thrice. So again we get the same question, that how to read them. So first of all, as I have told you that you must learn the name of radicals. Okay, so these are the radicals. NH4 is known as ammonium and OH is known as hydroxide. So once you know that NH4 is ammonium, so you can read easily ammonium hydroxide. Ca is calcium, OH is hydroxide, so calcium hydroxide. Cr is chromium and OH is hydroxide, so we can read it as chromium hydroxide. But next question comes to our mind, then how will we decide that we will place 1 here with OH, 2 here with OH and 3 here with OH. So again, as I have told you that you should know the valency, and valency plays important role. I will explain it one by one. Now you can see here, if I take example of NH4OH, you should know that the valency of NH4 is 1 and valency of OH is also 1. So as I told you that we simply exchange the valency. If I exchange the valency, then what do I get? I get NH4OH. It shows that NH4 and OH have one valency, therefore we don't write any number here. This 4 belongs to hydrogen, which is a part of ammonium. So we should not be considered as valency. Now if I take about calcium hydroxide, so you can see calcium and hydroxide. Valency of calcium is 2, but the valency of hydroxide is 1. Again we will simply exchange it, and now you can see this. After exchanging it, what do we get? Because this 2 is for hydroxyl, which is a complete unit, so this 2 will go outside the bracket. So this way we can write down calcium hydroxide. Now if I talk about chromium hydroxide, so chromium and hydroxide, valency of chromium is 3 and valency of hydroxide is 1. Again we will exchange it, and now you can see when we exchange it, then what do we get? CrOH whole thrice. So now we can easily understand that why we are placing only 1 here with OH, 2 here with OH and 3 here with OH, because these all numbers are representing the valency of these radicals which are placed before hydroxide. So this way we can decide that what number hydroxide will get in these chemical formula. Now here we have taken a few more compounds which are little more complicated than the previous examples. First I am going to read it, then I will tell you how to read them. This is sodium sulfate, this is sodium sulfide, this is sodium sulfite, this is sodium sulfate, this is sodium bisulfite, and this is sodium bisulfate. So now question comes, how to read it? What is the mystery? How can we read it? So for that I am going to tell you something. Now you would have to notice this carefully. You can see here with sodium is common in all the formula, but you can see like this negative radicals, like S is negative radical, SO3 negative radical, SO4, HSO3, HSO4, they all are negative radicals. Now you can see here that these negative radicals are having some specific name. Because of that only we have got a different name of these compounds. So what are the names we are going to see? So first I tell you one thing, that if any negative radical is written, suppose if I don't write here any charge, suppose, then it is known as sulfur, and sulfur, S is the symbol of a particular element. But as soon as I write here 2 minus, it becomes an ion, negative ion, or you can say negative radical. And you can see with this negative radical, here there is no oxygen. So when there is no oxygen with a negative radical, then we add IDE at the last as a suffix. So instead of calling it as sulfur, we will call it as sulfide. One more example I take it. Suppose if I write it I. If I write simply I means this is symbol for iodine. But once I write it with its symbol -1, it means it has become a radical, or you can say ion. And you can see here there is no oxygen atom. Therefore, we can add IDE as suffix. So it will become iodide. Suppose if I take chlorine here, this is the symbol for chlorine element. But when I write it with its valency, with its charge, or you can say valency, then we see that there is no oxygen here. So we will add IDE as suffix. So instead of calling it chlorine, we will call it as chloride. The same way, you can take few more examples. Suppose nitrogen. So nitrogen has, when we write only N, when there is no 3 minus sign, then this is symbol of nitrogen. But as soon as we write 3 minus, now it becomes an ion, or you can say radical. And here we see there is no oxygen, then we can call it as, instead of calling it as nitrogen, we can call it as nitrite. So one thing I have told you, that when negative radicals are given, and with the negative radicals, if there is no oxygen, then we can add ide as suffix, and we can call them as sulfide, iodide, chloride, nitride, hydride, bromide, and so on. Now, now you can see here, NM is sodium, and here S. Because here this is not sulfur, this is sulfide. So we can see this is why we call it sodium sulfide. Now one more thing. Suppose if these negative radicals, if they have oxygen, then what will happen? So there are two conditions. Either here, if I take the example of sulfur, if I don't consider this sign, and if I take it as sulfur, so if this S has, there are two conditions, that this S may have two different atoms of oxygen. You can see here sulfur has 3 oxygen, here sulfur has 4 oxygen, and this is, now it has become a radical. So when oxygen is less, then we add ITE as suffix, and when oxygen is more, then we add ATE, 8 as suffix. So it means that we will call it as sulfite and this sulfate. Again I am telling you, here oxygen is less with S, here oxygen is more with S. So when oxygen is less, you should say ITE at the last. When oxygen is more, you should say ATE at the last. So it will become sulfite, it will become sulfate. If I take one more example, suppose if I take NO2 and NO3, you can see here it was nitride because it didn't have any oxygen. So we had added IDE as suffix. But here we have got oxygen with N, but here oxygen is less, here oxygen is more. And their valency is -1. So this we will read at nitrite and this nitrate. What is the reason? Because here oxygen is less, so we are adding ITE. Here oxygen is more, so we are adding as ATE. Nitrite, nitrate. So the same way you can see here, this is sodium and here SO3 and SO4. Because SO3 here with S, oxygen is less, so SO3 will be known as sulfite. So it is sodium sulfite. But here with the S, here oxygen is more, so it will be considered as sulfate. So the whole name will be read as sodium sulfate. Now we can have few more examples like PO3, PO4. So you can see here they have valency. So when we talk about PO3 and PO4, so here oxygen is less, here oxygen is more. So here we will call it phosphite and this phosphate. So I have told you one thing, that when there is no oxygen with negative radicals, we add IDE at the last, like sulfide, iodide, chloride, nitride. When they have oxygen, but if oxygen is less than the other radical, then we call it sulfite, nitrite, phosphite. But when they have more oxygen, then we call them as sulfate, nitrate, phosphate. Now one more thing. If we add hydrogen with them in the beginning, suppose H, and if I write HSO3, HSO3, already we have come to know, already have told you, I hope it is visible to you, you can see it clearly. Now we already know that SO3 is what? Sulfite, and SO3 we have got here sulfite. But before sulfite, if we add hydrogen, then it is known as bisulfite. The same way, suppose if I add hydrogen with this HSO4, 1 minus. So now you can see here, this SO4 we read as sulfate. Here it is also sulfate, but because we have added hydrogen, so we will read it as bisulfate. The same way, suppose if I take here, we can have one more like HCO3. Here you can see this HCO3. CO3 is actually carbonate. CO3 is carbonate, but when I have added hydrogen here, so you can see it will become bicarbonate. So here you can see in this formula it is sodium bisulfite. Reason is this. See, SO3 is sulfite. We have written, but because here hydrogen is added, so we will read this whole as bisulfite. Bisulfite. So it is sodium bisulfite. But if we see this, this is sodium bisulfate. Because SO4 is sulfate, we know this SO4 is sulfate, but because hydrogen is added here, so it will be read as bisulfate. So it will be sodium bisulfate and this is sodium bisulfite. So you can understand that this way, this is very important which I have told you, you must go through it. So again I will tell you one thing, that for learning this, you must do three things, that you should learn the symbols, their valencies, and keep one thing in your mind, that simply we have to exchange the valencies for writing any chemical formula. Now as far as these rules are concerned, which are related to the negative radicals, you must learn it, and I am sure that it will be very easy for you to read and write the chemical formula. I hope you must have liked the video. I request you kindly to please like this video share the video with your friends, subscribe this channel, and please press bell icon so that you can get my latest video.